Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Break from the humidity, break from the heat, break from the sun, but the wind is something else. Lots of downed limbs. As a matter of fact, when I was driving to the store, I had a limb fall on my truck as I was going on this back road. So I was like, are you kidding me? Well, I drive back roads a lot. So I drive back roads out to the main road, but they had the road closed. So I had to continue on a back road and make all these little turns and got into these little forest areas. And what great motorcycle riding it is out here. Seriously. Um, I know that there are several runs. There's a spring run and a fall run that go through here. And there are some real fantastic motorcycle riding back roads out this way. Now, when I first moved out here, a lot of these were dirt roads, gravel roads. So they have paved all of them at this point, I think. When the casino came in, then that's when they started paving all of the roads. They haven't maintained them all that well, but there again. Well, what about that pigeon yesterday? What an exciting thing to be a part of. Here's this bird. It goes into the garage where my husband is, and it comes up to him. First thing, I mean, like he said, the first thing he thought it was one of my baby chickens, like how in the world. Then he thought it was one of the turtle doves because I do have baby turtle doves right now hanging out. So I've been making sure I have a lot of the wild bird feed. And thank goodness. And then he come into the house and he says, it has bands on. And I went, okay. So I went out, I identified the bird where it was. I came back out. He had left the garage door open, and so it was meandering out towards the road, and then it flew over into the neighbor's yard. Very low, very tired bird. Was wanting to be back in housing. And talking to these pigeon guys, these racing guys, they treat these birds very well. They're on a special diet, their accommodations. Even the lady on on the website said that these birds are sometimes in air conditioned and heated places. So he was wanting to go back into his place. He was lost. He was done. He had been flying for 2 days. He was tired. He said, "This house looks good," and he was right. So now I know, and you know, he brought two others with him, which I almost let one of those loose. That was hilarious. Because I was when I picked this pigeon up and was holding him, they're just all muscle. I mean, you pick up one of my chickens and they are not like all muscle. Some of them are nothing but I don't tell them that. But that's why they have leg problems sometimes and they get caught by the fox because some of my girls just are fat. But anyway, he hands me one of these pigeons that he brought. He brought two pigeons. I guess it's flying mates. He turns them in so many groups, and these were the two that he had set them with. And he handed this bird to me, and it's like trying to get out of my hands. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to get away. And he's like, well, don't let it loose. And I'm like, you handed me a bird that's ready to fly out of my hands. I was like, oh, what do you do? But anyway, they are just so compact. And, I was just so thankful that within 2 hours of identifying the bird, getting the bird in, calling UA, calling everybody and making connections, that bird was picked up. So please, if you ever see one of these pigeons on your property, or someone says, there's this crazy pigeon and it's hanging out on my porch, or it's going into my garage in this one spot, and I keep running it off and it keeps coming back. It's probably a racing pigeon that has gotten lost, maybe a storm, wind, something in its navigation was off, and it's tired, and it's used to being taken care of like a little athlete. So please make those calls if you find them. I was just thrilled. Now, I don't know about this, but when he brought the other two and brought them here and then drove them back, would they come back here again? Because I asked my husband, I says, don't you think it would be a good idea if we could have some pigeons? Because they're just so cool. Because this guy even said that he would give me a couple, but the original guy, the breeder guy who had the first guy I called, said, well, I'll give you some pigeons. And I'm like, that'd be so fun. I don't have to race them. I don't have to take them and, do the thing where you take them away from the house and let them go back. But how cool was that? I mean, that was cool. So I don't know if I would raise pigeons or not, but they're not like your wild pigeons. These babies are athletes and they're taken care of immediately. Something that did shock me, and I do know with many species of birds, um, their mothers have to feed the babies and everything. These guys don't feed their babies, they let the mothers take care of them. As we saw with Miss Dottie, one survived out of a lot. I wouldn't trust her to take care of my babies. All right, so maybe I could just have a breeding pair. I don't know, just one pair and let them, and then bring new blood in here and there. It's an idea because it's really interesting. Okay. Um, there's a lot going on, and I hope you're watching everything that you can, that you read everything that you can, and that you listen to something other than what's going to tell you how to think. I'm really, really concerned about this Project 2025 that's going in, and that people are not reading it enough and are not alarmed at what it is about. I'm just going to pick one little piece. Um, if you remember, is her name Caitlin? Katie Britt, whoever it was. She is the one who gave that creepy, weird after the State of the Union address speech from the Republican side that was so creepy. She is also the one that made the proposal through her state for pregnancy registries. And I talked about this in another video, but something that I think that you need to be aware of is in the Project 2025, the controlling of women's reproductive rights and privacy will no longer be. They will have you on monitor for your cycles, your menstrual cycles, for your pregnancies, um, and they will hunt you down because they want babies. Donald Trump, like all of his dictator friends or whatever you want to call them, want more babies. They're building armies. Do you know that 2025, yeah, your kids are going to have to enlist? Do you know that? I'm just saying. But my thing that was just blowing my mind that no one has brought up is the control of women completely and totally. I don't want to be controlled. If I want to go get a job driving a forklift, I can. If I want to go get a job working as a social service director or an activity director in a nursing home, I can. I can do corporate. I can do driving a forklift. The ranging of the abilities that I've had, I mean, I'm 54, so no one's going to be like really hip to hire a 54-year-old, but I have the freedom to do that. Of course, I do not want babies at 54. I could not carry one anyway, it would kill me. But I don't want women to be a soldier producer, a taxpayer producer, a soldier producer, and that's what they want. They want a wider population, but they want to control it. So if you get pregnant, you won't have a soldier. Your uncle rapes you, you're going to have a soldier. The neighbor's half cousin rapes you, you're going to have a soldier or a taxpayer. Please, please consider. And women, I'm talking to you because you are the ones that should be making the decisions about you. You should be allowing your daughters and your granddaughters and your nieces to make decisions about what they need to do in their life. Do they want an education or do they want to produce soldiers and taxpayers? Project 2025 decimates women and all other minorities. It is for white males to take over this country. And if that's what you want, then that's what you're going to get. But if this goes through, I hope that once everything settles and you actually realize what's going to happen and what's going on is not for the best interest of you or your country or the future of your country, and it does become a second world war or world, a second world country. Because Donald Trump's already calling us a third world country. We are not a third world country, and he keeps saying it over and over and over again so that you think that we are in a much worse place than we are. Why does it matter so much to people what other people do? Why does it matter who's sleeping with who 4 houses down across country, whatever? Why does it matter to you? Why do you think that the government should be allowed to take over our lives? You say you want less government, but 2025 is more government. Why are you accepting it? Because it's a white Christian nationalist agenda, the Heritage Foundation. Please, for God's sake, read Project 2025. If you have a porn addiction, you can be ratted out and go to jail. Oh, and that's the other thing. You better be ready for a lot more prisons to have to be built, because if you're going to incarcerate everybody that's going to resist or break these stupid laws that they're going to put in place, you're going to need a lot more prisons. Maybe they're just going to shoot them all, like protesters. I'm just saying, it's scary. And I have to go. Y'all have a great day. Hugs from a distance. Remember, save the pigeons.